Hello, Colas. Welcome back to Viva Barca and welcome to another interesting episode where we are going to be discussing on the latest developing stories. We start with this report claiming that two names have been listed on Barcelona's potential new captains for next season, which includes um, Robert Lewandowski and Ronald Araujo. We are going to be discussing more on that as we progress. Then, secondly, talking about Rafinha, as the Barcelona forward future was discussed during meeting between Laporta and Deco. We are also going to be discussing more on that. So guys, as we get right into the full story, please do ensure to subscribe to the channel, turn on the post bell notification to always stay notified whenever I post a new video. Consider liking the video and please watch it right up to the very end. With Sergio Busquets set to bid goodbye to Barcelona at the end of the season, his departure is set to leave a gaping hole in the team's midfield department. Not only that, the 34-year-old's exit will also create a vacancy in Barcelona's leadership group. Busquets is currently the first captain at Spotify Camp Nou with Sergio Roberto and Jordi Alba and Marc-Andre Ter Stegen following him in that specific order. The latter was made the fourth captain earlier this season after Gerard Piqué's retirement. Now, Javi Miguel of AS is reporting that with Busquets' spot set to become vacant, Robert Lewandowski and Ronald Araujo are in contention to become the next captain at Barcelona. With Busquets leaving, Roberto will assume the role of the first captain, with Alba becoming the second skipper and Ter Stegen the third, and one of Lewandowski and Araujo will be the fourth captain next season. As per the report, both Lewandowski and Araujo have the endorsement of manager Xavi Hernandez and the support of the dressing room. A vote will be taken in the pre-season to decide who will be given the armband. If Alba also ends up leaving, a possibility that cannot be ruled out at this moment, then both Lewandowski and Araujo could become captains. Lewandowski arrived at the club only last summer, but his experience, knowledge, and top-notch quality make him a strong contender for captaincy. As for Araujo, even though he is much younger than Lewandowski, the centre-back has emerged as a leader on the pitch for Barcelona, despite his age and relative inexperience. There have been talks of Ousmane Dembele also being a possible candidate for the fourth captain's role. However, when he asked to be made the captain after his contract renewal last year, it is unclear whether he was serious about it or made the comment jokingly. Either way, a new fourth captain will be appointed at Barcelona, although if Lionel Messi ends up returning, he could straight away replace Busquets as the first captain, with the rest of the order unlikely to be tinkered with. Are you sure of that? I don't think so. I think, personally for me, I think if Messi comes back, I don't think he should be the first captain, honestly. Messi, first of all, is that kind of a humble guy, and I think that Messi will not rush and say, give me the captain armband. Messi is never such a person. And for me, Barca should not impose anything on Messi. For me, if Messi thinks that it is okay, then it's okay. But I don't see Messi even pushing for any captaincy because he had already left this club. But it all depends. Let's see how it goes. But I don't see that happening, to be honest. So talking about captaincy, as Busquets have left the club, definitely there should be that gap in hole. Busquets was our first captain, which means that automatically Sergio Roberto, who have been the second captain, will be the first captain at Barcelona. Automatically, they will not even vote that one. So right now, Barca are trying to see who will be the fourth captain. And honestly, when we talk about Sergio Roberto being the captain, guys, I don't know why I have such a feeling that it will not look serious at all. This is a guy who have barely played games, injury up and down, and he has not been the fan favorite at all. Xavi is the one who have been forcing this guy to renew his contract, and I don't see him being a good enough first captain for this team. I don't know if the club can do something about that, because honestly, Sergio Roberto for me is not a leader. I don't see him being that leader who can put in a voice in the dressing room. This is a guy who hardly plays games, and he's not too used to with the other teammates because every season he has a long spell out on the sidelines. And how on earth would they think he should be the first captain? Because Why? Because he have stayed at the club for long? I don't think it makes sense for me. Because Barca, we all know they always like to take the captaincy issue on the longevity of a player in the club. So Araujo and Robert Lewandowski have been the two players, according to new reports, that the dressing room have really liked for either one of them to be the fourth captain. And it remains to be seen if Araujo or Busquets or Lewandowski will be that fourth captain. There have also been talk of Usman Dembele, who have once hinted that he would like to be a captain one day, and it remains to be seen. I don't think Dembele fits the bill at all. Dembele is not a leader. I don't think Dembele is a leader. He should not ever be given that role. So let's see how it goes for either Lewandowski or Ronald Araujo, who are in bid to be the fourth captain for next season. So it will be voted, according to reports, it will be voted by the players in the dressing room. Then on to the next story of discussion. Last evening, Barca president Joan Laporta had a meeting with former midfielder and football agent Deco. The Portuguese icon is seen as the most likely candidate to replace Matteo Alemany as the director of football at the club, with the latter set to depart on June 30. And on Tuesday, there was a meeting held between Deco and Laporta at the latter's residence, and as per Tony Juan Marti, there were a lot of positive vibes during that discussion. It is claimed that the two parties discussed the general situations at the club and players heading into the summer window without any specific names mentioned. However, there were talks about the future of one player in the form of RAPHINHA. The Brazilian winger is, after all, represented by Deco himself, and his future at Barcelona has come into question in recent weeks. With the Catalans needing to make a major sale in the summer, 26-year-old RAPHINHA has been linked with a departure. Clubs like Chelsea and Newcastle United have been heavily linked, and a fee of €80 million is being touted. Recent reports had suggested that Rafinha would be open to leaving the club due to concerns over his playing time for next season. However, the Brazilian took to social media to deny those rumors and call them all lies. Despite that, though, it seems like Barcelona might press ahead with the former Leeds United man's sale, as he has a market value in the Premier League and could fetch a sizable sum from a transfer. As such, his name was discussed between Deco and Laporta during the meeting, and the report states that the agent, who could soon become the director of football at Barcelona, will hold talks with Rafinha about the possibility of a transfer to Premier League. The situation is understood to be complicated to solve, and it remains to be seen whether Rafinha remains at the club or moves on in the summer. So guys, with that, we have come to an end of this episode. Thanks a lot for watching. Until next time, bye bye.